Good morning, Charger family. This is Mrs. Boyd. Welcome to Mrs. Boyd's math room. Happy to be talking with you today about classifying triangles. We're going to use a lot of words and a lot of thinking that you already know and put it to some geometric concepts. Let's go ahead and get started. An acute triangle means that all of the angles are between 0 and 90 degrees. So x is 0 is less than x is less than 90. For instance, in an acute triangle like this, we might have a 50-degree angle, a 60-degree angle, and a 70-degree angle. All of the angles are less than 90, like I said. If we want to solve for x and find the angles, we need to remember that when we add all of the angles of a triangle up, we get 180. So we can add up 65 plus x plus 15 plus x, and we know it has to equal 180. So we can combine like terms. X plus x is 2x. And then we can combine 65 and 15 and get 80. And that equals 180. To get x alone, we need to subtract 80 from each side. And that's 2x equals 100. Last but not least, we divide by 2 and we get x is 50. So that's x. Now we need to solve for all the angles. Well, we know one of the angles is 65. And we know one of them is 50 because it's equal to x. And the last one is x plus 15. So that's 50 plus 15, which is 65. All right, so that's an acute triangle. All the angles are less than 90. Moving on down, here's an obtuse triangle. Much like an acute triangle, same idea, that one angle, I'm going to underline 1 because that's important, is between 90 and 180. Oop, not 0. $90 is less than x is less than 180. And two angles are between 0 and 90. So this obtuse triangle might have two angles that are less than 90, like 40 and 30, and one that is more than 90, or 110. Just like we did above, if we want to solve for x here, we need to remember that we can add all of the angles of our triangle together, and it has to equal 180. So we combine like terms on the left, we get 45 plus x is 180. Then we can subtract 45 from each side, and we get x is 135. That's what makes it an obtuse triangle. All right. Last but not least, we have a right triangle. That means that one angle is equal to 90. The other two angles are complementary, or they have to add up to 90, because the whole triangle, all the angles add up to 90, and half of 90 is 180, half of 180 is 90, and the other two have to add up to the other 90. So we know that this is the 90-degree angle in this triangle. We also have one that's 40 and one that's 50. So as soon as we know one angle is 90, the other two angles have to add up to 90. So let's look at a problem here. We want to solve for x. Well, let's add all the angles together again. We have a 90 angle and an x plus 20, and all of that together has to equal 180. Combine like terms. We've got 2x plus 110 is 180. We can subtract that 110 from each side, and we get 2x is 70. That means x is 35. All right, flip your paper over. Let's do some more. All right, now we have a scalene triangle. That means there are no congruent, spelled that wrong, sides and no congruent angles. You might remember that congruent means equivalent in length or value. So that means if this line is one value, this one's another, and the bottom line here is a whole other value. The same thing goes for the angles. This angle might be 95, and this one is 65, and this one is 20. None of the angles are congruent, none of the sides are congruent. So we know over here in this triangle, the perimeter equals 30, solve for x. The perimeter means we add all the sides together and we get the sum of their lengths. Well, in this case, it equals 30. So we know we have 6x plus 8x plus x equals 30. Combine like terms on the left and we get 15x equals 30. Divide by 15 on each side to get x alone, and x is 2. All right, so far so good. Next is an isosceles triangle. This one says that two sides are congruent and two angles are congruent. So in this particular triangle, we would have these two sides be the same, and these two angles would be the same, and this one is going to be the odd one out. So we want to, on this next triangle, solve for x. Well, if those two sides are the same, we can set them equal to each other. So we have x plus 15 equals 4x minus 5. We can combine the x's. So let's subtract an x from each side, and we have 15 equals 3x minus 5. And then we add 5 to each side. Sorry, my dog's really into math today. Oh, crap. Come on, bud. Let's fix this. That's not a 3 at all. 20 equals 3x. And then we divide by 3 on each side, and we get x is 20 over 3. Last triangle is an equilateral triangle. That means that all the sides are congruent and all angles are congruent and have a measure of 60. That's because triangles have 3 angles. But inside the interior angles of the triangles, we add them together and we get 180. Well, we divide that by 3 and we get 60. So in this triangle, we have 3 angles that are 60 degrees each, 3 sides that are the same. Here we want to solve for x. Well, we can set any of these 2 sides equal to each other and solve for x. So let's do 4x minus 6 equals 2x plus 4. We can get the x's together and subtract 2x from each side. 2x minus 6 equals 4. We add 6 to each side. We've got 2x equals 10. We divide by 2, and x is 5. So it doesn't matter which 2 of these sides that we set equal to each other, they're all going to give us the same answer. Okie dokie. That's all we've got on classifying triangles. Pretty straightforward. I think you can totally master this like a champion. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be seeing you soon.